Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Well, good evening, dearest Joshes. Once again, heedless of the sorrows and bitter strife of mortal kind, All Hallows' Eve draws nigh. The shadows are darker, the veil grows thinner, and Michael Jackson's Thriller plays 12 times a day in Target. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Frankenstein Control's 57th annual Halloween Spooktacular! Yes, that's right. In light of how his music videos scared the shit out of Ada and I during our respective childhoods, I was going to have Tom Petty be our surprise musical guest tonight, but unfortunately Target was out of Ouija boards, even though I searched for 3 whole playings of Thriller.
Tom Petty.
Tom was also a decent guy, and he got out before the worst of the shit started, and he doesn't deserve to be dragged back into it now.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not about to Kabuto Yakushi poor Tom Petty.
What?
Orochimaru's henchman guy who resurrects everybody in the final arc of Naruto.
Oh, yeah. God, what's his name?
Kabuto Yakushi, I just said.
That's right. His name's Kabuto Yakushi.
Yeah,
Kabuto, that's my favorite Pokemon.
Kabuto.
He resurrects all the people they've already killed, and they gotta kill them all over again.
That's right.
That's pretty much exactly what happened.
He's like, y'all know about Mega Man? Check out this boss rush.
Anyhow, I've been doing a lot of pondering during our weird year indoors, and I came to the conclusion that we don't often spend enough time considering just what an important social construct Halloween really is. It comes along right before we're all plunged into months of frigid darkness with only our thoughts for company, which every year causes millions of Americans to go mad and try to kill their families with an axe after being snowed in at a mountain resort hotel.
Whoa.
You know, I did that one time, and you just don't let it go.
We'll never let you live it down. It's embarrassing.
It's something that so many families have to go through, and there's a bunch of advocacy groups for it online. They even had their own Livestrong rubber bracelet for it for a while.
It says Red Rum.
It said Red Rum, and the other side said hashtag Here's Johnny. In all seriousness, Halloween is a holiday for acknowledging and celebrating the things that scare us the most, triggering a catharsis which ultimately helps us regain some measure of control over our innermost fears. It goes without saying that's going to be a tall fucking order this time around, especially with Halloween gatherings and even trick-or-treating largely off the table. Unless, of course, your costume is a pantsless victim of Ravir's rampant larceny. That's why, in the spirit gum of the season, let's take some time to discuss the scariest shit we've watched, played, heard about, or even experienced. So long as we didn't talk about it last year.
Yeah.
So yes, I am hereby sounding a call, in spite of all the very real things there are to be imminently afraid of right now, for us all to make an effort to live up to the challenge posed to us by Halloween, and overindulge now more than ever in the macabre, the chilling, and the gruesome. Let us exhaust our body's fear hormones on harmless fictional spookings, so that when the time comes we may greet the incoming real threats with action instead of succumbing to dread and terror. So, what y'all got?
I got the intro. Welcome to Frankenstein Control's Halloween special. We did the intro already, so you already know I'm your host, your ghost with the most, Taylor Russell, the world's heaviest ghost. To my right is Ada Ship.
I'm Ada, and I'm the Frankenstein with the spine. 8 feet long.
Oh, where does most of it go?
It's coiled.
Oh, jeez.
I can extend my body at any time, like some... I don't know.
Like the horrible dead kid from Uzumaki?
Yeah, like some Tibetan ghost.
Oh, God.
I'm sure there's some like yokai or folklore creature that does that.
And in front of me, as always, is B-Rai.
I'm B-Rai, the most underrated undead breakfast cereal seasonal this time of year. Nobody ever buys me.
You got Chocula, you got Count Chocula, you got Boo Berry, you got Frankenberry, you got B-Rye.
Mm-hmm.
Has lots of marshmallows in it. They're good.
It has marshmallow knives.
B-Rye cereal is paper flavored.
Oh, God.
It is.
Paper and salt.
Those are the cheapest ingredients, Ada.
They're not real food.
New paper.
None of it's real food. It's breakfast cereal.
Got me there.
Just because you can digest it doesn't make it food.
Oh, Big Rye, you are our favorite salty papers cereal. And
It's made of paper, so the little marshmallow knives can actually cut you.
Yeah, you don't play around with Captain Crunch, you know?
Oh God, that shit's razors.
Well, I mean, like that's Captain Crunch don't compare to the roof cutting capabilities of B-Rye cereal. B-Rye paper cut cereal.
Sharper than most is our company brand.
Your cereal makes you sharper than most. Take it before the day of the big test. Not because it will make you sharper in your mind. It means it'll cut your mouth up and you have to go to the hospital and you don't have to take the test. That's how winners do.
Well, to get us kick-started on the theme of, things that really scared us.
Kick-started. Ada, put on the ukulele music.
Yeah, seriously.
Here at Frankenstein Control, we
value family.
We value family, and we want a product that reflects that. So we've come to introduce the Spoopy episode.
Yes, we have. So, a couple episodes back, I mentioned that I was watching The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix, and that it was, pretty spoopy, pretty good. And I mentioned that it was the spiritual successor, pun intended, of the other show on Netflix, The Haunting of Hill House, but that I haven't watched that one.
Spiritual successor?
Yes, as I said, pun intended.
Okay.
But,
spiritual successor?
found the compliance wand.
Oh, no.
It had fallen into the fridge in the move.
Just in time, but it fell out from one of my fat flaps.
But yeah, I've since went, but we actually went back and watched Hill House. It's fucking terrifying. It is way scarier than Bly Manor. Bly Manor is really scary, don't get me wrong. It's definitely worth watching if you like spooky shit, but Jesus Christ, Hill House is frightening.
Are you sure you didn't actually just watch the Golden Girls special episode called Haunting of Blair Manor?
No, we got halfway through that, and that was terrifying.
I mean, it's the Haunting of Blanche Manor. Is it Blanche or Blair?
It's Blanche, I think.
It's Blanche? Okay, Haunting of Blanche Manor, my bad.
Yeah, we got halfway through that one, and it was scary, but it was it doesn't hold a candle to doesn't hold a candle windowed house to freaking Haunting of Hill House. So I'm a pretty I'm a card carrying grim dark edgelord. I passed the certificate exam in Hot Topic ages ago. I got me a little card that says "Welcome to the Black Parade," and I'm hereby. I can hereby be stoically unfazed by the most gruesome and horrific of things. It's been quite a long time. I mentioned the spring coil dead kid from Uzumaki earlier.
Yeah.
I think reading Uzumaki 11, 12 years ago was the last time I was really, really freaked the fuck out by something.
Yeah.
And Hill House did it for me.
Okay.
In particular, without spoiling too much, there's
a spooky ghost that killed all the characters in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it was the dad the whole time.
It's a mini series, not a movie, or not a mini. It's an actual series. There's 10 episodes.
It's a mini movie.
It's a long movie. It's a very long movie. It's a 10-hour long movie.
Oh God.
That's a long movie.
Now that's scary.
You're gonna need some popcorn for that.
I know, but I know I'm walking right into well-deserved jokes about how what scares us the most is that which reminds us of ourselves. But there is a very, very tall, very, very thin ghost on that show that scared the absolute shit out of me.
Oh my God, is it the Stinky from Casper the Friendly Ghost?
If only. Oh God, if only.
He was named Stinky?
I think
he was.
I think that
Something like that.
Yeah, his weird ass. Stinky Fatso and
there's
something.
Stinky, Shitty, and Dick Wipe, I believe, were the names of Casper's uncles, and they weren't uncles biologically. They were the three hobos that adopted Richie Rich after he fell on hard times, and they all died when their van got carbon monoxide filled.
Yeah,
and that's.
Wow.
You laugh, but that's canon.
That's quite elaborate.
It was made up in 1943. But, yeah, God. So, the kid, basically the plot of Haunting of Hill House, it's sort of loosely based off the Shirley Jackson story, but this family, the parents, flip houses for a living, and they buy this.
Wow, they must be strong.
Yeah, I know. They buy this rundown mansion, Hill House, and they live in the houses while they fix them up, and then they sell them and they move on to the next project, and that's their lives.
Yeah.
Typical white people.
Yeah. And they are all white.
Mm-hmm.
And this, the exception, of course, being that Hill House is haunted as fuck, and the kids all start having spooky experiences that the grown-ups are typically like, I'm not going to believe you because I'm a parent in a horror thing.
Yeah.
And at one point, two of the kids find like just stuff that belonged to the previous owners. That was just like odd, junk that was left around. And the little boy, the littlest boy, there's two boys. The youngest boy, he's like 6.
And the oldest boy, he's 39.
Yes. Finds a bowler hat. And he's like, can I have, the little girl's like, can I have this thing I found? And, they're like, sure. And he's like, can I have this bowler hat that I found? And they're like, sure. Just play around with the shit you find in the house.
Yeah.
And he puts on the bowler hat and he's like, hello, governor.
Yeah, he immediately turns into the Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange and starts wearing weird underoos and beating people with a stick. Clubs a man to death with a giant penis. While operatic music plays. Off topic, recently, Alyssa and I were, to get into the Halloween mood, we were watching some of the classic Treehouse of Horror episodes of The Simpsons.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
And there's one where Bart is dressed as I think Alex is the guy's name from
That sounds right.
Clockwork Orange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And, he's got like the eyelash thing going on and the hat and everything.
Yeah.
And Alyssa was like, what's Bart dressed as? Because I see that everywhere, but I don't know what it's from. And I was like, oh, that's from A Clockwork Orange. And she's like, oh, yeah, I always hear about that movie, but I've never seen it. And I was like, it's not for you, Jen. It's not for you. There is nothing in that movie that would appeal to Alyssa.
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
to be completely honest with her about
Yeah,
that.
it strikes me
Yeah.
as a very unless a movie.
There's no romance and just constant, disturbing, weird violence and horror. Mm-hmm. But not even like supernatural horror. Just disturbing, awful things that could potentially be real.
Yeah.
And drug
Including, but
milk.
not limited to, drug milk. You never had the milk of the property.
But getting back on track. So like the kid finds the bowler hat.
Oh
and
yeah,
then-
this whole mess was started because of a goofy English hat.
Yeah, and then he like wakes up in the middle of the night and hears like this tapping noise, and like one of the ghosts. Predictably, the hat belonged to one of the ghosts, and
Yeah.
the ghost is now looking for the hat. And the kid like looks out in the hall, and there's like a million doors down the hall because it's a big ass fucking mansion that they're all
Right.
living in. And there's this apparition, this fucking huge, like inhumanly tall, inhumanly proportioned,
A vaporous apparition.
thin ghost of a man. It's like all elongated and just fucking creepy. And it's like trying the doors all the way down the hall, and it doesn't turn towards him and see him as soon as he comes out. It just sort of keeps like, it tries one door, then moves slowly closer to him, tries the other door, then moves slowly closer. And it's one of those things where like you don't know if it's just a tall man and like the proportions are that way because he's like a 6-year-old boy and that's how he's envisioning somebody who's that tall, or if this thing is like straight up like inhumanly proportioned because it's like limbs feel like they're 3 times the size of a normal person's body. It's just horrifying.
It's just a ghost of an orangutan.
Yeah.
Dude, what if you got haunted by animals instead of people? Like, by dead animals instead of dead people. Just like you look out the window and there's a floating vaporous apparition of a fucking squirrel with like a tire mark on him.
That would be a lot less scary and a lot more annoying. I feel like just because it would just be like having the destruction that pumpkin wreaks on a normal basis, but like a lot more, and then you can't like yell at the animal, because it's a ghost. But yeah, the fucking tall ghost is like slowly trying doors, and it just like moves really unnaturally, and it's so fucking quiet when it's doing it. It doesn't like turn towards him, and it just tries doors, and then he like goes back in his room and like closes the door and hides under the bed, and then it comes into his room, and like you see its feet like sort of float into the room, and it moves by like tapping with its cane, and it's
Does it tap with its like? Does he hold the cane in his toes?
no, it holds the cane. It's like it walks really creepily, like it floats above the ground. Like it has feet, but it floats like a good half foot above the ground, and just like moves the cane as though it were walking, but it just like floats that way.
Yeah.
And it scared the shit out of me. I I literally had a nightmare about that ghost last night. And I'd spend just a really long... I think it's just because it's so weird looking, it's so quiet, and it's so atmospheric that it just really fucked me up.
Yeah.
I can feel you on that. The big dude from It Follows kind of had that same effect on me.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know. Yeah, that
yeah.
guy with the fucked up face.
Yeah, the big dude with the fucked up face, and he's so big he fills up like most of the door.
Yeah.
Like he has to like bend awkwardly to fit in the whole door frame. It's like, oh jeez.
You know, like I do.
And also that movie, high quality props, because my homeboy Disaster Piece does the music for it. You may know the fella from a game called Fez, maybe.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does the music for that movie. It's interesting. It's an interesting soundtrack for certain.
Yeah.
Isn't Fez the game that was developed by that guy everybody hates?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Phil Fish.
Philfish. One word, Philfish.
He couldn't handle any criticism and just went off the rails.
Oh, that's why.
And ruined his own career by doing so.
Yeah.
Prima donna, eh?
But yeah, that's my most recent experience with spooky shit, is how badly I got scared. And that's not even the scariest thing in Hell House. Deliberately similar to Hell. But
is the scariest thing in the movie on the fucking mortgage payment. Wah, wah.
Real talk. Real millennials are afraid of this one thing.
Millennials are killing the haunted house industry.
I've been awoken by spooky occurrences today.
Oh, do tell.
A couple days ago.
You mean those spooky yard work guys?
Yes! As most of you know, I'm a vampire, so I sleep during the day, and there was fucking like leaf blowing yard work going on outside the house this morning, and I swear one of the like leaf blower guys just hit the wall that I sleep against.
Oh, you're not. No, you're right, because I was awake when they were doing the yard work, and like literally a weed whacker was right at my window, like tapping on it.
Wow.
Guy's just like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's out here to do one thing, and that's wake everyone in the neighborhood up.
Yeah. So like,
I had to get up this early, so do you.
I'm already trying to go to sleep through the sound of, but then just it like I swear it happened right where my foot was on the wall. So like I just feel this jolt go through my entire body, and I wake up and like, oh, what the fuck was that? Until my brain like caught up with it and realized, oh, that's what it was. I was like genuinely terrified though. I was like curling up and shaking for a bit. And before that, I was just asleep, and I am awoken by a vibration feeling on my butthole. And I just like start waking. I'm like, what was that? What the fuck was that? And like my mind is racing. Like, did I leave like a toy in my bed or something? And it just turned on. No, there's nothing here. Is there like a mouse in my bed and it thinks I'm a corpse and it's trying to kind of like crawl up there to eat me out from the inside?
Core you like an apple.
And then I realized, and there was a sound too. I farted myself awake. Am I a fucking dog?
Y'all didn't see her shoulders drop at the realization, but it was a look of ultimate defeat.
You farted yourself awake, and you're neither a dog nor a dad.
You're a mix of the two. You're a dog. A dad dog.
A dad dog.
You have your pet finder. He's lying on the ground. Just. That's Ada.
It was terrifying though. In that couple of minutes before and it took me a while. Like it was a good 2 minutes that I was awake and went to the bathroom when I realized there was a sound too, a buzzing sound. Oh, like a fart.
do the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
Yep, that was the Ada experience.
Yeah.
I've been getting back into spoopy stories on the internets because
fun times.
Because I can't read, so I listen to voiceovers, and some of them are really bassy and keep Ada awake. So I've been listening with my headphones.
Thank you. Because I really just don't like hearing in the entire house. It's just that, what was the name of the guy that does that?
Oh, the Dark Somnium?
The Dark Somnium.
Yeah, he's got some really bassy, but also it's because my speakers are really bassy.
And like nothing else bothers me. Like any other things that you play, like I'll hear it and it's just like whatever, it's quiet enough, I don't care. But this guy is just so fucking bassy. Anyway.
He's like a fucking dubstep. He's the dubstep of creepypasta readingmans. Well, unfortunately, that's the guy that I'm going to recommend to you.
Okay.
The video, I wrote this down because it's kind of complicated. Basically, the video is called Stolen Tongues.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a reading by the Dark Somnium. And it's read from the No Sleep Stories series. My romantic cabin getaway with my fiance isn't exactly going as planned. So it's got a very long anime title. And yeah, it's a story about a man and his fiance. They go to a family cabin in near Pikes Peak, Colorado, in the mountains, and they get stuck there.
Predictably.
They get stuck there predictably. And the wife has sleepwalking problems. She's always had, or the fiance has sleepwalking problems, and she's always had them. But they start to worsen during their trip as they get snowed in there. And then a bunch of crazy shit happens that I won't go fully into, but I will say that when they get back home, she continues to act strangely. And it only gets worse from there. And like, I don't normally like the kind of story, like the... I'm gonna be real, it's a Skinwalker story. Like, I'm gonna just let you know right now, it is. And I'm not normally big on those just because they're so overdone. It's just like, it's just whatever.
Really well done ones can be really terrifying.
This one is really well done because it's very intimate, and it isn't that same scenario that you see in every fucking Skinwalker story where, like, we were out camping, and then we thought we had 5 people, but we only had 4, and there was another one of us. Ooh, spooky monster. But, like, no, this one, like, is very, like, it really hinges on that whole, like, are we just crazy or is this really happening kind of thing. Like, it dips in and out of the narrator being dependable and undependable, and it's like it takes a lot of like twists and turns, and you're like, oh jeez, whoa, this is actually pretty spooky. Like, intimate is definitely what I'll say. The story is very intimate. Like, it follows these two's little adventure very closely, and like it's just written really fucking well too. Like, the writing is very suspenseful. Numerous times I'm like, what happens next? And like, it's great. It's a great story, and it gives creepypastas a good name, and it isn't the cut episode of SpongeBob where Squidward takes a knife and stabs his dick, and there's photorealistic blood.
That's a cursed SpongeBob episode. You can only get it on the VHS tape at this one creepy shop or some shit.
Exactly. Dude, I'm gonna be real right now. Lost episode creepypastas are some of the worst brand of creepypasta ever. Worst genre.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
They're all, like, just... You're automatically disbelieving from the outset just because...
It's like, you would have heard about this. You can't tie in a real creation into, like, a fictional thing, because it's just... There's too many ways to fact-check it, or, it's just... It makes it more implausible.
Yeah, well, besides all that, it's just like... Especially the cartoon ones, it's like, the animation takes a lot to make.
Yeah.
It needs to go through review processes multiple times. There's no way that a cursed episode would ever be made.
Yeah.
And you know what? For those of you who might like it, I get it. I really do. I get where you're coming from on why they might appeal to you, because it kind of appeals to that thing where, like, you have these bizarre half memories of things you might have watched on TV when you were little, and it's weird.
The Candle Cove effect. Yeah,
because you were a kid and your mind literally was not complete yet, and so your imagination fills in the gaps with weird shit, and it's compelling to be on that search for the spooky thing that you saw as a kid, and then you find out it's really not that spooky. It's just kind of like, oh, it's this, okay. which is another reason why I don't like the lost episode stuff, is because my real life experiences with those is, oh, it's that.
Like the that Grinch thing that I found.
Yeah!
That you had forgotten about, and then I'm just playing a music video that has it as a like visuals, and you're like, that's the thing I forgot my entire life, or something.
I when I was really little, I saw that special, and like I was just describing, my mind filled in the gaps, and I thought it was a lot more sinister and bizarre than it actually was.
Yeah.
You're both gonna laugh, but I'm pretty sure I saw the what's the episode of Rocco's with the restaurant and the I'm the cheese, I'm the
Wacky Deli.
Wacky Deli, yeah. I think I saw that when I was like 3, and it disturbed me and like kind of fucked me up. And I remember bits and pieces of it. I have this visual of, in my weird half memories, I recall this thing rising up over a tabletop that looked like SpongeBob, the horrifying SpongeBob meme.
Oh,
where he's
SpongeBob?
all where he's all looks really gross and horrible, and like this thing that looked like that rose up, and it scared the shit out of me. And I don't know if it was a half dream or like a remembering of a scene from that episode, but the timing would be right for it to be that episode.
Yeah,
and it like fucked me up. It was this weird, disturbing half memory I had for the longest time.
Well, I can tell you that episode has nothing like that really in it. And what I will do is recommend it, because that episode's hilarious.
I rewatched it with you guys like 2 years ago, and I was like, this is funny. I can appreciate this as an adult.
Okay.
Like, I don't have a third of a brain, and that's still baking and interpreting this incorrectly.
Yeah.
It is cathartic for me to chase down certain dragons of yore that, disturbed or unsettled or just stuck with me when I was younger, and rewatch them or re-experience them with my intact, debatable, grown-up brain.
Yeah. And
of all of the things that I've chased down that weren't scary anymore, or I just had a different interpretation or take on them, the Wheelers still scare me. And I had a cathartic moment recently where we were hanging out, we were seeing some friends, and we mentioned, in safe, for the record, in safe, anytime you see people, it's not safe these days. We were safe when we saw these people that I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because of Ravier.
I thought you meant you weren't near any Republicans. Got him.
Oh, what a smoking hot take there.
Scathing review of
Sizzling,
Cats Don't Dance.
Sizzling fire there, Stroker Race.
Oh, my Stroker Race.
But anyhow, the subject of the Oz books came up, and I mentioned the Wheelers, and I pulled up a picture, the same picture of the Wheelers that I showed you, and showed it to one of our friends, and he went, "Oh!" He just had a visceral reaction to them. And I was like, "It's not just me; they're horror shows."
It is. That is a horrifying image.
They are gross.
The open gaping mouth with 3 teeth in it, just like
pizza blade cutter wheels.
Yeah.
That apparently aren't hard at all.
No, they can't hurt you. They're made of fingernails, but somehow that's still disturbing.
Yeah.
And it didn't really make me feel all that better.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's still gross and uncanny, and I don't care for it. And what the fuck was wrong with you? The guy who wrote the Oz books in 1927. Were you high on frickin' absinthe or some shit, and you'd shat that out?
The Wizard of Oz is a isekai.
Oh my god.
Am I wrong?
The Wizard of Oz was the world's first sword art online. Dude, yeah, Dorothy's totally a Kirito. She fucking is such a Mary Sue. What the fuck?
She has her harem of the the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow.
Yeah, all different races of the MMO that she got transported into. She got transported into it because her house got caught in a tornado, and her fucking Alienware gaming laptop crashed into her face.
I would love
isekai.
if I don't know what a good isekai is that's still running, But the final
a lot of people say ReZero is. Personally, my favorite is Konosuba, but it's kind of like a parody of the genre. So,
but I just want one of those animes to end with the character like beating the final boss or something, and then waking up, and it's just the end scene of the Wizard of Oz, and you were there, and you were there.
I was hoping you were going to say, because generally those characters are transported there by dying somehow.
Yeah.
Like they're hit by a car or some
Well,
shit.
they thought they died, but they were just in a coma.
Oh, well.
And then they're awoken by all their friends in cosplay.
I was thinking.
And it's like, it's live action instead of anime cartoon.
I thought you were going to say they're going to they finish the adventure, they wake back up, and they're like. They wake back up and go, oh, and then they find their crushed, mangled body at the bottom of a truck, and they're like, oh shit, and they actually die.
Oh, God.
They wake up only to see that their legs are 20 feet away, and then immediately pass.
Speaking of that, I was thinking of movies. You ever been scared by a stupid horror movie when you were younger?
Oh, of course. Yeah, the beginning of Ernest Scared Stupid. There's a bunch of like old 1950s movies, and they show this footage of like there's this one movie with these floating brains.
Oh yeah.
And it was all in black and white, so my young mind thought it was even freakier than it was, and it scared the shit out of me when I was little. I was like, whoa! But that was just like the opening credits. The actual monsters in the film didn't scare me. They were goofy like trolls.
Yeah.
They were goofy little troll boys. But what's up?
Mars Attacks was terrifying.
Oh, Mars Attacks is
It was the part with their ray guns that would like turn
people into skeletons.
And the green and red skeletons.
Yeah, turn them into colorful.
That's what
skeletons.
was horrifying about
when
it.
your
Was that they were
skeletons
colorful.
are colorful. That's what shit's just too much.
I had a complicated relationship with Mars Attacks because I found several of the things in the movie to be really cool, but at the same time, it was like 50% really cool, 50% really scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Lissa was horrified by Mars Attacks. Her like monster that she's afraid of is aliens. Like mine is ghosts. Ghosts really get me. Aliens really do it for Alyssa. She's terrified of them.
What was that movie that we watched with
The Fourth Kind?
The Fourth Kind, yeah.
Oh, that's a scary fucking movie.
that was pretty scary.
That is a scary fucking movie.
Tell me about it. How come I haven't seen a Fourth Kind?
It's presented as a
found footage
and it's like a documentary.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Of this research
like Blair
team.
Witch meets aliens?
More like the notes of a research team that was investigating and interviewing people who claimed to have been abducted by aliens.
Ah, okay. And so let me guess, they all started out the story being like skeptical and they're like, look at these crazies. What a bunch of cards. Fuck! Oh, aliens!
They're, and it's just like people have all these horrifying... There was like a one point where they put somebody into hypnosis to like recall the events they've repressed during their abduction, and they unhinge their jaw and start screaming in Sumerian because like the last time the aliens visited us, like it was like ancient times, and so they think that's still the language that we speak. And like they translate the Sumerian that the person screamed, and it's like Zimabu Eter, which means like I am God, this is over, or something really really fucking terrifying like that. Oh my god, that's a fucking scary movie. I forgot about that.
And you go, oh god!
That's a scary fucking movie.
That sounds pretty lit.
I'm
down with that.
What I was going to go with the stupid horror movies was the movie Ghost Ship from 2002.
Oh my god, I haven't thought... That's the one where there's like a thin wire that
cuts everybody.
Yeah.
That's when you said your legs are miles away from your body, because there's that really gruesome scene in the beginning of the movie where they're all on the dance floor on the ship, the cruise ship, and like a wire breaks and it like slices everybody in half on the dance floor, and like it really viscerally shows people being like confused that their like other half is like
not a part of them.
It's not a part of them, and they're like clawing torsos everywhere as they're like slowly dying. And
of course, the mood is lifted when like the jokester character goes like, "Well, this is me and my better half," and then he dies.
He slaps his legs and goes, "Dare you drunk?"
But no, that's not a dumb thing to be scared of.
That freaked me out.
It is if we all, everybody likes to like dunk on Ghost Ship or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it's like a horrible thing.
Yeah. When I was 12, when the movie came out, it disturbed me.
Yeah, when fucking I'm definitely one of those crowd of people that's like, yo, dog, Event Horizon, haha. I was way too young when I saw that.
We all were.
I was way too young when I saw the
What if a spaceship went to hell?
When I saw the stuffy the
With
stuffy
Cowboy Curtis.
well, the stuffy paleontologist man from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
He gets all naked and then cuts off all his skin
Oh, he does that.
and gouges out his eyes, and he's like, I don't need eyes in hell or whatever. It's just, now you watch it and you're like, tee, this is chintzy and like over the top. What a good time. But when you're a child, you're like, I'll never be the same.
Yep.
We watched Sweeney Todd recently.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that had
Swinsy.
some disturbing imagery, of course.
That stuff with serial killer type stuff, I just view that as instructional and relatable. I don't find any of that horrifying.
And I just at the end of the movie when he shoved her in the oven, I regarded that as just Tim Burton reenacting his divorce with Helena Bonham Carter.
Are they actually divorced?
I don't know.
I don't think so. They just have a weird threesome kind of thing going on where
my.
Tim Burton likes to watch Johnny Depp kill his wife. The scene where spoiler alert, a character gets thrown into a furnace alive and burns alive. That was pretty disturbing.
I don't remember that. I remember that part of the movie. I just don't remember what it looked like.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, like her hair, because it's Helena Bonham Carter and she has so much fucking product in her hair and on her face. She just went up like whoosh.
Like a paraffin candle.
Whoosh. And she was gone. That movie was a lot. I like that movie a lot more this time around watching it than the first time I watched it. I think the first time I just wasn't in a Burton-y kind of mood, so I was just kind of like, whatever. But this time around, I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm cool with it.
We played recently, Lissa and I, we played through a survival horror game called Until Dawn, which is a fantastic game.
I've heard about that one.
It's a good one. It's a spooky game.
Ooh.
And there's a monster in it. And I'm not gonna for anybody who hasn't played it.
There's
all the way
monster
through,
in it. You mean Death Stranding?
Yes, yes. And the monster's name is Sam Porter Bridges. And
no, it's Monster the energy drink.
Yes. Well, no, he drinks Monster energy drink, and then when you take it away from him, he pours beer in your face.
It's true. He does do that.
No, but Until Dawn is a survival horror video game. It's one of those games that's sort of like Heavy Rain, in that it's like an interactive movie.
Yeah.
John, I'm Freezeberg.
Okay, I was about to say that quote. You've seen the video where they mod him nude.
Yeah.
It's so weird and disturbing.
It's
but
so
it's funny.
It's really funny.
Freezeberg.
There's a monster in Until Dawn.
Oh yes, Until Dusk.
And I don't want to give away. If you are fortunate enough not to have played through it or watched a playthrough of it, it's definitely worth doing, because it has several twists and turns in the game, and nothing is what you think it is, and it's all pretty scary and good. Mm-hmm. But there is a monster in the game, and it moves. I'm not going to say what it is because that gives away a major spoiler, but I remember thinking that the way it moved, the animation choices they made for it, are disturbing and very well done. And I was trying to think of what it reminded me of, and it reminds me of a Tim Burton-esque claymation character.
It reminds you of Miss Trunchbull from Matilda.
Sure. But the way the thing moves, it just I remember like that's what it reminds me of. It's like
something
a Tim
from
Burton.
Beetlejuice?
Yeah, it's like a Tim Burton-y claymation, or like Nightmare Before Christmas, some kind of a thing like that. And it like still. But it's like the game was like photorealistic, like real life, and so
so if you saw something moving like that in real life,
it would be disturbing, and it lends it a very uncanny, inhuman.
That's great. I love that kind of shit.
Like gait to it, and I thought it was very well done and a good choice animation wise.
I like that. That's good. Ooh, you're spooky.
It was very spooky.
I'm a fan of spooky things, but only when I'm in a room where I can't be a little bitch anymore. If I'm all alone with spooky things, I'm like, whoo! But if I'm in a group with friends, I don't know, something comes over me, and I'm like, that's pretty scary, isn't it?
Steven came over on the weekend, and he, again, safely, we were safe, established safety before we did any of
You said the
things.
safe word.
But he played Fatal Frame 2.
Oh.
We started it months ago, and he finished it. And I watched him play, and it was spooky and fun, and we had a good time.
Remember those years ago we played Amnesia: The Dark Descent?
Apparently there's a new Amnesia out.
Yeah, Amnesia Rebirth, I think it's called.
Yeah,
I watched some videos of it, and I really wish the main character would shut the fuck up. They just... I don't know.
I'm the monster from the first game.
Well,
this is my story.
Well, no, like...
It all began in 1643.
It's not...
I was a cobbler's son in the village
I don't
of...
mean the thief and the cobbler. What I mean, like... While you're going through the game, your character will shout "Hello, it's me. Hello, is anyone out?" And you're like, "Shut up! You're taking me out of the game. I'm getting the spooks, and now you're reminding me that I'm a human."
Yeah.
It's just like, shut up. Give the game some breathing room. We already got enough exposition in the beginning. We're already heavy on that. You don't need to be saying shit.
Yeah.
And also, she's got a funny accent. So she got a funny French accent. So you're like, "Bonjour, je suis Nogonguizi. Je suis la Juvie." That's right. This is a horror movie. And those children aren't French. They're German.
Oh my god! Oh, that's funny. That's what I call funny.
That's right.
Volume 17.
I'm playing Muzzy, the horror game.
Oh, fucking
It
Muzzy.
looks plenty scary, though. It looks plenty scary. I just wish you would... It just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Like, when she says stuff.
Gab,
a lot of
that
the other
girl on
stuff is
YouTube
cool
I
looking.
watch. The girl I watch on YouTube, Gab, who plays a scary game, she's doing that one right now. I keep forgetting to watch.
Gabby.
She plays a scary game, and she good at them. Because I could not play the scary game, I get scared.
There's a number of scary games that I think would be fun to play. Like, I never got around to playing that Blair Witch game.
Oh yeah, Danny and Aaron played
That I
through
may
that
or
one.
may not have mentioned in an episode of Frankenstein Control that I'm incredibly impressed with. At least at the time when it came out, I was incredibly impressed with how they made a real-ass looking forest instead of a video game forest.
So here's the thing about that forest. That I've wanted to say this since I first watched Danny and Aaron playing that, driving through it starts with the sheriff's deputy and his dog that you play as driving in his Ford Bronco down this windy road into the forest to
Driving down Highway 40 in his big old pickup truck.
Yes. Fuck, I forgot the lyrics to that. I was going to make a topical reference from 2003.
If that. I can't even remember when Cartoon Planet came out.
By the Brack album, Classic Times. Scary for our parents.
Yes, most definitely, along with the Pokemon 2000 album.
Yes. But anyhow, the game starts and
The Blair Watch.
The Blair Witch game starts, and the guy what you play as is driving in his Ford Bronco with his police dog to investigate the disappearance of the boy in the spooky woods. Mm-hmm. And they're driving through this beautiful, it looks like Washington State or Oregon, pine forest and shit. And I'm like, wait a minute. Blair Witch takes place in Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland doesn't look like that. I'm from fucking Maryland, and it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it does have a very Appalachian Mountains kind of feel to it. And
but that doesn't even look like the Appalachian. It's just no. It's beautiful. It's very well rendered, like you said. It's a very impressive forest, and it gets dark as fuck in a realistic way. They nailed all that.
It looks foresty as fuck.
They even had a Maryland...
Monroe.
They have a Maryland flag on the when you open your guys' inventory on the stationery that your orders are written on. It's it got the correct Maryland flag and all that stuff, and it says County of Baltimore. And I'm like, that's definitely not what Baltimore County looks like.
He's out of his jurisdiction.
Yeah,
I love it. I wish his car had County of Baltimore Sheriff's Department, and under it it's I got my crabs in Maryland.
Yeah.
With a goofy little crab boy.
Yeah.
Just saying, he's a cartoon crab. He's saying things.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not what Maryland looks like, guys.
Oh man, dude, fucking. Regardless of location anachronisms, I still, that's definitely on my list of spooky games that I want to play. I tried playing Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs one time.
Oh yeah.
And I was getting into it, and then I came across a game-breaking glitch where my character got stuck and couldn't escape this really dumb Bethesda-esque kind of, I got stuck on a wood plank or whatever. And I realized that the game didn't autosave very good, and I realized I didn't save very good, and I was just like, well, guess this game's going into trash. And I never picked it up again.
Not replaying any of that.
And so I never got to finishing that one. And there are a lot of times I miss Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
You could always have me play it.
Have you play? Oh yeah, Ada plays the game like a bull in a china shop.
You just rush through scary shit and trigger.
No, I make as much noise as possible.
Yeah.
I think the one time Taylor handed me the controller, like, you be the scary thing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to carry a chair with me the whole time. That way, if the monster tries to get to me, I'll just have a chair in front of him and he can't do anything. Like, knocking the chair into the walls and, like, throwing it everywhere. Picking up buckets and just chucking them.
You throw the chair and the monster's like, I'm mad!
Oh, the spooky Homer Simpson boy is spooky though. I like him. He does look like Homer Simpson.
He kind of does. It's weird.
No!
He just comes at you, Merge.
Merge.
I'm coming after you, Merge.
You're breaking my heart.
And the other monster with the weird hook arm and the flower-headed face.
Oh,
shows
yeah.
up and he goes,
Homer, where are you? Homer!
One of the monsters attacks you and you're like, ah, screaming, being ripped apart, and they're like, don't have a cow, man.
We need the Simpsons mod for Amnesia: The Dark Descent that we all deserve.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's something like on the tip of my mind of a spooky thing, but I can't. It's like right there, and I forgot to write down a note of it. Oh, it's killing me. It's killing me. I'm dying.
That's terrifying.
Ada, what's a dumb movie that scared you as a wee child?
I was terrified of any stop motion film. So
yeah?
The Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach.
And absolutely nothing Harryhausen.
Let's be honest. James and the Giant Peach is a horror show.
Yeah.
That was a horror movie. That's not a movie for children. That's not a lighthearted tale. That's a terror time.
Terror time.
Fucking Sky Rhino kills his parents and he lives with his horrible family, and then all that shit happens, and everybody just looks like they designed every single character in that movie to look as disturbing as fucking humanly possible.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of skeletons that he fights underwater, one of whom is an Eskimo for some reason, even though that's not ethnically cool to say anymore.
But they look like Jack Skellington.
One of them is Jack Skellington in a pirate outfit. And he scared the shit out of me because there's like a jump scare with him.
Well, he's supposed to. He's the king of scares.
Yeah, and he's underwater in a pirate ship for some reason, and one of them had a duck. Like one of
a duck?
So like I think it's supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek kind of a yuck look. Like one of the skeleton pirates is Donald Duck, but he has like a duck skull for a head, and the only effect on my way too logical brain was imagining what that thing looked like when it was alive. If it was a person with a skull shaped like that, and that horrified me.
Yeah. The Duck Man.
And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Ada, put up a picture of Duskull.
The Pokemon?
There he is. That's
There
what
he
B.
is.
Ryan was afraid of as a youth.
Get it out of here. I don't want to look at it anymore.
Scary.
It's just, I don't even think it ends happy. I mean, I guess it sort of does.
They wind up in the Big Apple, and they drop a big peach on the Big Apple, and then everybody's like, you're surrounded, we're the police, and then his creepy ants are there somehow, and they're like, oh, wriggle, 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 and then James is like, I don't like you, and they're like, I guess we better go then, and then they get eaten by a sky rhino. I can't remember if that happened.
By creepy ants, do you mean like bugs or his mom's sisters?
Oh,
His mom's sisters is evil.
Because there's both of those things
There are-
in that movie.
Actually, is there an ant character? I know there's a bunch of bugs.
The two, I'm trying to think of.
There's a New York centipede.
The New York centipede. I remember the New York centipede. I'm trying to think.
The horrifying grasshopper.
The horrifying grasshopper.
Oh, yeah.
With his horrifying fucking face.
There was the
Yeah.
there was the monster
spider lady.
Yeah, the monster waifu French.
Yeah, the monster waifu is perfect to describe. Yes.
I think there was an earthworm who was blind.
There was an earthworm who was blind. And then I'm trying to remember what his two like evil ants look like, and I'm literally just picturing Patty and Selma.
Yeah, with ant heads.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm having a hard time, and I've seen this movie in like the last maybe 5 years, and I can't remember. Like I can't have a strong mental image of what they were. I imagine like Imagine if Horace and Jasper were their Halloween costumes were the witches from that one Halloween movie that everybody likes.
That's
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the one. Imagine Horace and Jasper were cosplaying as the Hocus Pocus witches, and
Oh, yeah,
that's my mental image of these bad parental figures. I can barely remember because that movie is hard to remember.
I'm assuming you mean the Peggy Hill witch and the is it Bette Midler who's in that movie?
Yes.
Not the hot one.
Wet Midler.
Wet Midler.
Ooh. Wet Midler.
We got off the rails at some point, as we tend to do.
Did we ever talk about how the fact that the middle sister witch in Hocus Pocus is Kathy Najimy, a.k.a. Peggy Hill?
Wait, really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't know that.
There's some
the
times
dumb one or the fat one?
The fat one.
Oh, okay.
There's like the main one, and then the two sisters. One's
Yeah.
like the hot one, and one's like the goofy one. And she's the goofy one.
Huh. I did not know that. Peggy.
Yeah, and there's sometimes where you can hear it. She's probably like, "Oh, Hank."
Excuse me. Oh, y'all. When's the last time y'all ever watched Hocus Pocus?
Like the other week.
Oh, wow.
I watch it every year.
Oh, you never seen it?
Nope.
Yeah, I saw it so long ago. I might as well have never seen it.
Yeah.
So we watch it every year, and I loved it because it, like, when I rewatched it as an adult for the first time, because that's a movie that scared the shit out of me when I was little.
This has a skeleton in it.
And it's
Oh
like
yeah,
the
it
bus.
has. You know, there is some I remember from that. There was like a zombie man who like cuts these wires that were sewing his mouth shut, and
Yeah.
dust and moths fly out.
Yeah,
And it's Doug Jones.
It's Doug
I do
Jones.
know it's Doug Jones.
It's
I've been
Doug
told
Jones.
that it's Doug Jones.
it is Doug Jones. And once I saw it as a grown-up and realized that it was Doug Jones, I was vastly less scared of him.
And you're like,
And
look,
he's-
it's Abe Sapien.
He's also a total, like, that zombie just his first emerging scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, because I was acutely terrified of cemeteries and corpses.
Like you still are.
Like I still am. And he scared me real bad, and so I never watched like farther in the movie than his emergence scene, and then swore to never watch that film again.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, there's a knock at the door.
There's a
That's
knock at the
frightening.
door.
Who could it be? We have a special Halloween guest.
Oh, Alec.
Hi, my name is Camilla. I'm in 5th grade, and the reason I'm selling these snacks is because
For school?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yep, I remember having to do that stuff too.
I have Rice Krispies and a cup of chocolate.
It is a child selling cookies.
Rice Krispies is $1 for one,
$1 for Rice Krispies.
and the chocolate bars are 50 cents for one.
Chocolate bars are 50 cents each. Taylor's buying a Rice Krispie and 2 chocolates.
He's being a good person.
Yes. $2 for children's charity or something.
It's kind of like reverse trick-or-treating. You have a good day, sweetie. Have a good night. I got snacks from the child.
Give them!
You better say I want one. Yay!
Yay!
I got. I like these chewy granola bars. These are good. This is basically candy. Yeah, it was a small child selling candy at the door. For the orphanage or polio or something.
Yeah. The orphanage has polio.
Yeah, so that's what happened. We were discussing Hocus Pocus and how scared I was of the zombie man, and how I didn't watch it again until I was like 27, and loved it and have watched it every Halloween since. Fun fact about Doug Jones: he did an NPR interview recently,
Oh.
and he's 6'3", which means that the guy who professionally plays inhumanly tall and lanky monsters, I am taller than. So there was my body image thing.
Body image or body horror?
Both.
No. Oh, it's granolas. It's dry.
Hocus Pocus.
I got crocus pocus.
That kid is outside, like, clutching their money like, die, you bastard, die.
Die, you fat asshole. Only $2, fuck you.
Hocus Pocus has a great 90s feel to it. Like, it just perfectly encapsulates what it felt like on Halloween in the 90s, and I love it for that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And it casts a spell on you. That's the other thing I remember is that she sings that song.
There's also like these shitty Halloween bullies that like
Halloween bullies.
well, they're the
Are they the bulk and skull of the movie?
they're the regular bullies of the town, but on Halloween they become the Halloween bullies. And
Are they
you know,
called that?
No,
Do they become the Christmas bullies during Christmas?
presumably, but there's a scene where they're like smashing pumpkins and stealing little kids' candies.
like that band.
Yeah, and it's Billy Corgan as well.
Yeah. they all melt into Billy Corgan.
They all melt into Billy Corgan and then start believing in chemtrails.
Mm-hmm. Going on Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
God.
But I just remembered, like, when I was watching the movie and I watched the first time, like, all the way through and saw, like, the shitty Halloween bullies, I was always like, when I was a kid trick-or-treating, I always wished a motherfucker would. Because
I'm in a mask. You don't even know who I am.
Exactly. There was one year...
I wish a motherfucker would.
Because I was a fighty kid. I got in lots of fights.
And that never... luckily, that changed. Luckily,
so,
B-Rai is no longer belligerent.
I'm extremely belligerent. I just haven't... Nobody's pulled the chain in a while.
It's because you're 500 feet tall.
Yeah, that's true. That
You're
is...
taller than Doug Jones.
I'm
Yeah.
taller than...
And it scares him.
I'm taller than Hollywood's professional monster.
B-Rai, the horror mime.
That's what all your potential assailants say. It's
Yeah.
like there's like some guy that's hopping out of the alley ready to mug you, and he's like, I can't mug that guy. He's taller than Hollywood's Doug Jones.
Professional monster Doug Jones.
Professional Hollywood scary man, Doug Jones. I'm not going to rob him.
One of the last years I trick-or-treated on Halloween, I was Link. I was like 12 or 13, so I was really like pushing the age limits there.
Yeah.
I pretty much knew it was my last time, but I did a really well put together, or so I thought at the time, Link costume.
For a 12-year-old.
For a 12-year-old. Bear in mind that like a million years ago when we were 12 and 13, there wasn't as much like officially branded Link stuff that you could buy.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Like you had to...
Back in my day, you couldn't just go to the party shitty and get your novelty cartoon Bayonetta costume to wear.
Yeah.
You
Bayonetta.
had to go to the barber shop and sweep up all the hair and make a leotard out of it. So you can be Bayonastus.
He's not lying though.
I went as Bayo Nasty.
But I remember I had like a wooden sword from the Renaissance Festival that was like kind of the real ones that you could really smack somebody with.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that there was like older kids at some bush who were like pelting kids with eggs when they like passed. So when it got timed in the neighborhood where I was near that bush with my friends, I just charged the bush and started hitting it really hard with my wooden sword, like intending to beat the shit out of anybody who was hiding in there.
Were you
And
screaming,
then-
yeah, here, yeah?
Pretty much.
And
I probably was. I was that much of a cringy.
Did you plan so far ahead that you would feign ignorance and be like, I just wanted to chop in a bush?
I don't know.
That's what Link does at the game. It's called cosplay, Grandma.
I figured I would just disappear into the throng of other kids that were around there.
Yeah.
I have numerous instances that I can recall from childhood of committing violence and then vanishing into a crowd. Assassin's Creed style. I used to watch the kids playing soccer, and when like one of them would contest, inevitably there would be like, you know, a clump of kids where they were contesting a goal and like, you know, that was against the rules, you shouldn't have done that, no, that was our point or whatever. And I would infiltrate the clump at that point and punch a kid out and then like blame the guy next to me and then slip out and start a fight.
Oh my god.
I did that at least twice when I was like 7 or 8
Fry did it.
because I am a sociopath. But there were no, the long story short, in the Link story, there were no kids in the bushes and I didn't commit felonious assault.
Oh, okay. You only... If they were behind a curtain, you would have performed felonious assault. I think my last Halloween that I ever trick-or-treated in, I dressed up in a suit and I had a briefcase that I carried my candy in, and I said I was a corporate executive.
You said, I'm truly horrifying.
I'm the truly scary thing.
And half the dads were like, that's a really scary costume. Get out of here. It's not funny.
I famously had really shitty costumes my whole life. Like, one year when I was really young and Power Rangers were in, like all of us cousins, like me and a few of my cousins and my sibling, we all dressed up as Power Rangers. And they were like one size fits all, but I was a fat kid. And so like when I put on my skin tight Power Rangers leotard, my junk got all scrunched up, and it looked like I had a huge camel toe. And everybody made fun of me. And then one year I went as like some obscure Monty Python's Flying Circus character. Who's the guy who mashes two bricks together?
You didn't go as Creosote?
Professor Gumby?
Yeah. Oh, his name is Professor Gumby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went as that guy. 1 year, and then I think the following year, that was the year before I became a corporate executive. And I had like a big 80s cell phone from what I remember.
That's great. That's like a funny costume.
Yeah.
Though.
And I'm sure I was too young to get any of the jokes that people like B-Rye might have said. They're like, the real scary thing.
I always had really, really good costumes, but like through no effort of my own. My dad was just like a master at like making costumes. I really didn't deserve the extent he went through to like give me really fucking good costumes.
That's one of the reasons why I want a child, is so I can dress them up, because I'm the cosplay master, goddammit.
There was a couple times where I was really proud of the costumes my dad made me, and I actually lost like the neighborhood costume contest because they said it was like store bought, but it wasn't.
Damn! You know what?
Strip did that.
You know what? You probably took that as a huge insult, and I bet your dad was like, "I'm so good." He's like. It's like getting kicked out of a game of Counter-Strike for hacking, but you weren't hacking, you're just that good.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
I still have, when I was like looking for Filmo and Dilmo in like the closet under the stairs, that's like the old Halloween closet. That's where we have all the old weird masks. My dad like has the old 25-year-old werewolf mask that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
That's awesome.
We have the like windsock in there. And I found my old Bender mask. My dad made me a paperboard Bender costume.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I was 10, and I went as Bender, and I had like dryer hoses for the arms and legs, and like spray painted gray, gloves for the hand, like work gloves. And I remember all the dads in the neighborhood were like, "Oh, look at it's Bender!"
That's awesome.
Give him a beer.
Hey, somebody give this kid a fucking Jaeger bomb. He's Bender. He's powered by alcohol. And then young B-Rye found dead inside a road from alcohol poisoning.
No, that's just where I became an alcoholic.
So B-Rye's hilarious problem started.
Yeah.
All those years ago because of Bender costume.
It's weird when I think back of how well made those costumes were, and how like never before or since has my dad displayed that aptitude for crafting that he used to make those costumes. And it's like really impressive that he could do all that stuff, and he never talks about his ability to do that and hasn't used it on anything since. And it's weird when I think about it that way. Yeah. But it felt natural at the time.
Yeah.
And like I can't make shit half that good.
The best costume I ever had, my mom made.
What was it?
It was my first Halloween ever, and it was a Tin Man costume.
Uh-huh.
And like she went the whole 9 yards, like went to the fabric store and like bought that like foam mat and like rolled it up and like spray painted it silver and like added like aging to it. And like, I saw a little photo of little me back in the day. I'm like, "Mom, that was a really good Tin Man costume." And she's like, "Yeah, you fucked it up by falling down a bunch of stairs. You brain dead mongoloid." I'm like, that sounds about right, man. He said it was really funny though, because there was a lot of stairs and that costume was round, so you just kept rolling.
There was a year one of my good buddies in the neighborhood was a tiger, and his mom made him wear like blinking lights on his like tiger ear, like the ears of his tiger costume, so that we could be seen in the night by cars and stuff. And he's like, "Oh man, that's really lame." And, like that, I gotta wear these fucking blinkers, man. That's lame. But it allowed me to see him in the dark, and we were running up. Like the path of this one house we hadn't hit yet, and I guess they had a step in the path and he didn't see it, so he just tripped and just face planted really fucking hard, and his candy went everywhere.
No!
And that guy is now a Maryland State Trooper, and I would love to tell all of his squad mates that
Tiger trip.
I thought you were about to say that man is now a Maryland State Senator.
No, he's highway patrol in Maryland now, and I would love to tell all the guys at the precinct that story of how he fell wearing a tiger costume when we were 8.
I was a really, really squeamish kid, so I didn't actually like Halloween as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so surprising.
Yeah, really, because I would see any like amount of blood or gore and just want to throw up. So I don't really have a whole lot of Halloween memories. I do remember dressing up as a tiger once, or no, it wasn't a tiger; it was just a cat. I think it was supposed to be Garfield because it was an orange cat.
And then some guy was dressed up as a Monday, and you went, ah!
So recently, I've gone shopping to various places, and these places had like greeting card areas in them, and it's weirdly common to find like cards to your grandson for Halloween, or like. Happy Halloween from your grandma. Happy Halloween from your granddad. Stuff like that. And like, is that a thing? And then I realized, oh yeah, it is a thing. I went to my grandparents' house all the time on Halloween.
I did when I was 19 years old, and it was just to keep Grandpa company because my grandpa lived very close to. My parents are actually going to move into his house now because it's like, 5 minutes from their current house, and it's all one level. At least that's the plan anyway. But
that one level goals of all of our parents' ages. I swear.
Yep. But I love my grandpa. I really miss him. And I love spending time with him. And I was like, Dad's like, you know what? Why don't you go to Grandpa's house and help him hand out candy on Halloween? So I was like, that sounds fun, and sounds like an excuse for me and Grandpa to have martinis together without supervision from you, and for me to answer the door and drunkenly give kids candy while wearing a gas mask, which is exactly what I did.
And you're like, oh, you kids want some nose candy?
I had a good time.
That was your salad days of drunken Halloween givens. I think the best time I've ever had giving out candy was one year I hung out with a fan of the show, Josh, and his lovely wife Autumn.
Oh yeah.
On Halloween, and I made a Sans costume, and the kids fucking loved it. Oh,
they knew what you were?
Yeah.
That's
they knew
awesome.
what I was. They're like, yo, are you Sans? I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, ah! And it was awesome. And, I think that was the happiest I ever been, because every other time Halloween rolled around, when we lived at the Flop House, we were in the darkest, spookiest part of the neighborhood, and everyone thought...
With our rundown jungle house.
Yeah,
you were the cursed house.
Our rundown, we were
I dare you to go up and stand on the porch.
Dude, I fucking hear Sasquatches around here, man. And there's just me like, whoa! Anna, where'd you put the rake? Whoa! And I fall down the stairs. I'm in a Tin Man outfit. Oh, God. Yeah, and then nobody comes trick-or-treating around our apartment.
The first day that we moved into the, or first Halloween we moved into the Flop House, we, went all out and we, decorated the place. We had, eyeballs hanging from the stuff. And, had the door open with all the lights on.
2 kids came.
Yeah. Early in the night, a big group of kids, 5 kids came by. They all got candy, and then nothing else. And then I had packed everything up and was doing laundry and walking around in my underwear or something. There's this 2-year-old standing in the door, oh shit! Whoa! This kid needs some candy.
Well. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we were plenty spooky enough for you this Halloween. Hope you got a lot of ideas of what you want to do. Maybe this year, maybe next year if there's still a planet to live on.
Yeah.
And you can be spooky too in your own little way. Me, on the other hand, I got a date with a silver cylinder. And we'll wear that and roll down some stairs. I'll see you guys later. Ah! Ooh! Ah! Ooh! Woo!
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.